Hello and welcome back to week 2, lesson 2. We're going to talk about, you guys were just given the challenge to remove processed sugar from your diet, and you may potentially, if you're like many of my other clients and how I felt initially, you may be feeling a little panicked, right? It is super normal to feel panic-stricken over removing processed sugar from your body. But I want to remind you of two things. First is the simplest, easiest, and most tasty aspect, which is I want to remind you that you guys, as you remove processed sugar, there's all those sugar swap options that you have. So you can still have amazing cakes like on this cover. You can make my ginger molasses cookies that are like one of the most popular cookies in my book, Piece of Cake, The Secret to an Anti-Inflammatory Diet. You all should have received in your week 1 Student Center and Kajabi a free e-copy of the book. You can also buy the book if you want the hardcover, or not hardcover, but paperback version on any major through any major bookstore, Barnes & Nobles, Amazon, Books with a Million, just any place online. But you have all of the recipes for the book, as well as what we're going to talk about, which is our mindset, a piece that comes from the book as well. So I just want to remind you, you have that as a resource to make these amazing ginger molasses cookies. And then I want to also tell you, like, if you are saying, ooh, I can't give up my chocolate, this is just one of many food swaps that I love to tell people about. Honey Mama's chocolate. Honey Mama's chocolate is amazing because it uses raw local honey, sprouted organic almonds. They don't all have nuts in them, but this one has organic almonds, unrefined organic coconut oil, raw cacao, vanilla, Saigon cinnamon, Himalayan pink sea salt, and cayenne pepper. This is a spicy one. They have lavender versions. They have peppermint. They have just plain chocolate. They have a coconut chocolate. They have cardamom chocolate. They have so many really fun flavors, and this one happens to be spicy. But Honey Mama's, you can look it up online, and you can also search it in our Facebook group because there's a post on it there. It's just one example of, okay, I can have chocolate, just not the kind of chocolate or dark chocolate with still processed sugar in it that I'm used to. Let's get some Honey Mamas, right? Or there's even recipes to make chocolate if you like that. Here's another example of a food swap that you can buy at the grocery store. I just found this yesterday. I'd never heard of this company before. We found it at our Smith's local grocery store in the freezer section. And these are little cupcakes, muffins, but they're like a cupcake. They're really sweet. And they use, let's see here. Here's what's inside. Natural cacao, which is the raw form of chocolate, organic extra virgin coconut oil, almonds, cage-free eggs, and unprocessed sugars. So organic coconut sugar and maple syrup. So cool. And they have another muffin if you don't like chocolate or cupcake. And I thought this is great to have in the freezer if my kids, if there's a birthday party at school and I just want to grab something to send for them to celebrate with, what a great option. Or if you just have a craving, right? So again, if you're feeling panicked because you have to take sugar out of your diet, you don't have to take sugar out. We just have to take processed sugar out. And in my book, you guys, there's things like vanilla cupcakes with chocolate avocado frosting. It's so good. Popcorn balls. Carr family brownies. You don't even have to bake these. They're so easy. Lemon bars. These have become world famous. Well and Good, which is, if you don't know Well and Good, it's an awesome online health magazine, basically. They actually asked me to provide them with the lemon bar recipe, and it was their #1 most popular recipe of the entire year in 2018. And then you've got things like, look at how good that is, vanilla kiss with chocolate ganache on top. So this is a vanilla coconut based chocolate ganache. You don't even bake these. They're so fast to make. I've got granola bars. Like, there's so many yummy treats in here. So again, just to take that piece out, when I do live workshops, I always bring lemon bars or something for you guys to try. And I can't do that virtually, but hopefully you can taste with these pictures. You have so many options available to you as well. So make sure to find the swaps and have them available to you when a sugar craving hits. We'll be talking more about that next week. But there is another component to the panic, and this is a big piece of what we're going to work on, which is the mindset piece. So I want to show you guys, and if you scroll down to the bottom of the screen, there's a printout for you. And we're going to talk about, this is actually called CBT, Cognitive Behavioral Therapy. But it's what happens when there's an event. And after an event, we create a thought. Based off of that thought, there's an emotion. And then we have a reaction. And that reaction is basically a new event that creates a new thought. And the cycle continues. And it's really interesting how this plays out in the world of our own self-care, and how we either sabotage ourselves, or we can heighten our awareness, see what's going on, and create an environment that supports us. So I want to give you an example when it comes to sugar, right? Okay, let's pretend that I'm a new participant and I just listened to the video to become a renegade researcher and take processed sugar out of my diet. It's day 2 and I have had no processed sugar. I'm felt a little detoxy, but I'm starting to feel better. And I'm so proud of myself. It's the first time I've ever been able to do this. But I'm also willing my way through, right? I haven't gotten any of these yummy swaps. Like I'm just eating kale salad and I'm not having any processed sugar, but I'm also starting to feel a bit deprived. So something happens. I show up at a party. It's a birthday party. It's my best friend's birthday party, right? And I really, really want to stick to no processed sugar because I know that's what my body needs, right? However, I'm at this party. There's an event that takes place where there's cupcakes sitting in front of me. And my best friend says, "Aren't you going to have any cupcakes?" And I think to myself, do I have them or do I not? So that is the thought. Do I have them or not? And with that thought usually is, I feel like in that situation, you may feel isolated. So I'm going to have one so that I don't upset the person, the host, right? Or I'm going to have one because everyone else is, and I'll feel like the loser if I don't have one. So we tell ourselves some sort of thought, and then that creates an emotion. So here's the cupcake. It's sitting here. That's the event. Someone says, "Are you going to have one?" My thought is, I better have one so that I don't insult the host. My emotion then immediately goes to one of disappointment. I'm feeling disappointed. I had this, and while it may have tasted good for a second, I'm now feeling disappointed. I shouldn't have had that, right? And that causes a reaction. So the reaction then is typically, I'm going to eat more. I've already messed up once today, or I already had this, so I'm going to have more. We have more. That's the new event. That creates a thought. I can't do this. This isn't meant for me. I'll never be able to stay free of processed sugar. That creates an emotion of failure. And what does that do? That says, oh, I might as well get out the pint of Ben & Jerry's and eat more of that. So you can see this vicious cycle that continues. But let me show you what it would look like if we just changed our thought pattern ever so slightly, right? We're at the party. There's a cupcake. The host says, "Aren't you going to have one?" And you tell her, here's a different thought, right? You say, I am actually working on my health, and I'm learning about things that cause inflammation and really make the pain in my body worse. So they look so beautiful, and I'm really honored and touched that you offering this to me, but I'm just going to enjoy it I'm going to enjoy watching you eat it instead, and so I can really figure out what's causing this inflammation. When we reference our own health to other people or to ourselves, right? instead of saying like, oh, I should, so I don't insult the host. Notice we're focusing on ourselves and we're referencing our health. Then people almost always say, oh, that's so cool. That's awesome. If you tell them you're on a diet or you're doing a thing, a food thing, they will almost always tell you, oh, come on, you can have one. Because you guys, diets were made to fail. Diets were made to fall off. And we've all done diets and we've all fallen off the wagon. And so that the hosts may feel like, oh, that's not a good reason. But if you say, I'm doing this for my health, it's a total game changer. Okay, so we go back to this, right? Here's our cupcake. It's sitting out. That's the event. We're asked if we want to have, by the way, this is in my book, page 28 of my book, if you want to read more about it. But we have the event, right? The thought that we tell ourselves and the host that asks if we want a cupcake is, I'm actually going to hold off, and I'm so honored. I love how beautiful it is and it looks amazing, but I'm learning about inflammation and how it's really impacting my health and figuring out which foods are causing it. So I'm not going to have it because I think it really affects the pain in my body, but thank you, and I hope you really enjoy yours, right? Now there's an emotion. We feel empowered. We feel proud. We feel like determined, right? We have this really amazing emotion that takes place, and there's a reaction when you're looking around at all the other food. What are you going to eat? You're going to go over to the vegetable tray, or put some guacamole on a carrot, or you're going to make healthy choices. You're going to drink water instead of wine. Like, you're going to feel so empowered and so good about yourself. And that continues. So then what's the next event? You get home, and instead of feeling down and bummed, maybe you go for a walk instead of sitting in front of the TV. It is, you guys, changing the way you eat creates magic in your life in so many ways outside of just your body. It affects your relationship, your career, the way you show up in the world, your friendships, so many amazing different things. So that is what we need to pay attention to. 2 aspects. Our mindset, event, creates a thought, creates an emotion, and we have a reaction or a new event, and then we're off to a new thought. We can either have a positive spiral up, or we can go into the negative downward spiral. If you find that you're in the negative downward spiral, make a choice to stop. And we'll be talking about that more next week, right? The 3 things you can do to stop sugar cravings or any sort of craving in their track. When I find if I'm on a downward spiral, immediately I go to those 3 steps. And then the other piece, right, is to have clean swaps. So go to the party and bring a tray of, this sounds kind of weird, of Honey Mamas, or bring a tray of these chocolate cupcakes, or make your own cupcakes, or bring a side dish. Like, bring something so that you don't feel isolated and like you aren't celebrating. Still celebrate, just celebrate with your clean, healthy food.